We want to begin tonight with the Supreme Court and the unprecedented case of presidential immunity before the justices. At issue is whether former President Donald Trump is immune from criminal prosecution for what he claims were official acts while in office. The decision will have major implications on the special counsel's election interference case against Trump, as well as this year's presidential race. Trump wasn't at today's oral arguments at the Supreme Court. He was in a courtroom in Lower Manhattan, where he is mandated to appear for his trial for falsifying business records to hide an alleged affair. In addition, Trump is facing criminal trials in Georgia and Florida, and in just the last 24 hours, Trump was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in Arizona and Michigan over fake electoral schemes. We have team coverage of today's major developments, and CBS's Jan Crawford will start us off from the Supreme Court.
In nearly 3 hours of historic arguments, the justices emphasized their decision will go beyond former President Donald Trump.
Whatever we decide is going to apply to all future presidents.
No president has ever faced criminal prosecution, and some justices, while emphasizing a president is not above the law, focused on what precedent the case will set.
The history tells us it's not going to stop. It's going to cycle back and be used against the current president or the next president and the next president and the next president after that.
I am concerned about future uses of the criminal law to target political opponents.
Trump is arguing he has absolute immunity as president from prosecution for official acts during his tenure in office, including efforts to overturn the 2020 election. He made the point again before entering a New York courtroom on trial today in one of 4 criminal cases against him.
The president has to have immunity. This has nothing to do with me.
But that sweeping argument of absolute immunity is one the justices, liberal and conservative, seemed almost certain to reject.
If the potential for criminal liability is taken off the table, wouldn't there be a significant risk that future presidents would be emboldened to commit crimes with abandon while they're in office?
The framers did not put an immunity clause into the Constitution. Wasn't the whole point that the president was not a monarch and the president was not supposed to be above the law?
Instead, the justices appear to be focused on a middle ground where presidents may have some immunity from prosecution for official acts, as Justice Clarence Thomas asked at the very beginning of the argument.
How exactly would we determine what an official act is?
That question may take time. The court has never decided it, but the clock is ticking if special counsel Jack Smith can prosecute Trump before the election.
And Jan joins us now. So if the justices rule that he has some limited immunity, how long could this take? What's the timeline?
I wouldn't expect a decision before June. I mean, this is a complicated case. The justices know it's going to be the law long after they have left the Supreme Court. But that's what special counsel Jack Smith asked for. The court agreed to expedite this case so they could have a decision by the end of the term. Now, whether or not there's a decision in time for a trial before the election, that'll be determined by how the court writes it and whether or not there are issues for the lower courts to resolve. Norah?
All right, really interesting. Jan Crawford, thank you.